guys, I'm finally back with my Celebrations 2022 Chalk Couture haul, which is kind of in two boxes and has been a long time coming because of some work stuff going on. But in any event, I wanted to show you guys what I got. So the first box is all the stuff I forgot that I wanted and after my initial purchase. So we'll hit some of this stuff up first. So this is the surface for the new house cutouts, basically, the ones with the windows and the doors. And basically, like some of the box frames, they've got the same sort of distressed look to them. But I'm really looking forward to this because I saw some really cool things that Ken had done with some of the patterns at one point. And then these, I believe, yeah, these are the new pendants that, as you can see, they're pre-drilled with holes so you can basically string them together. But they actually look more beefy than I thought they would be because they were, yeah, they're more like, and they're much smoother. They're more like the tags. I mean, like the original tags, not the new chalk ones, but they're not quite papery. If I open these up a little bit, you can see what I mean. Like they're pretty beefy. And these things are the same size, roughly, as the 5x7 pendants. So basically, sort of A-size transfers fit really nicely on them. So I'm excited to do something with that. And then we have another set of house cutouts. Because I had a couple different ideas. And then we get to a bunch of transfers. So the first one I really wanted to get, both for me and to do some projects with my folks, is this family one that has cats and people and babies, and I guess dogs too if you're a fan of those. But I really like the art style. It was sort of like those families you see on the back of cars kind of thing. So that was pretty sweet. I also wanted this very badly for my front door, which I forgot to buy from the spring catalog, which is this hello. But I really kind of like this in that, you could pretty much use the popsicles as is, and I'm just a big fan of popsicles in the summer. And of course, I had to get all the Hello Summer minis because those I did not have. I particularly like this drink one, the flip-flops, Go Wild. Like, this works really well with the Go Outside stuff. Like, I could see that as, like, a card thing. Life is Good with the camper. More on the camper in a minute, but that is pretty sweet. This one I didn't know existed, but it looked kind of interesting. It's sort of a layered flower kind of thing, so I think that'll be neat to sort of use on cards as well. Like, the form factor here is just really nice. Like, I like the sizing of a lot of these cut-aparts for that kind of stuff. We have the other part to the houses, so you can make actual windows and doors. And I really like the patterns particularly. The sayings are fine, but I really like the patterns the best. I pretty much brought it for the patterns. And then the butterfly transfer was finally back in stock, so I wanted to pick that up because my mom's a big fan of butterflies. I saw some interesting work where people actually use these in black and then filled in the other portions. Because these portions won't print, but like once they were done, they sort of watercolored in the where the wings would be. You got a nice swallowtail and a monarch and a couple of other things. These are really, these are big. You can kind of see compared to my grid. So, these are a little big for cards, but would be, fairly nice on things like those pendants or, even larger pendants than that if you wanted. And there's some cute, collector notes, too, if you're a fan of that. And, of course, I wound up getting the cute little camper. Because I thought this would be really cool for, an accent piece for the summer. But the little version of this is actually pretty nice as potentially on like an A2 card. I think it would fit pretty well. Because really isn't everything just all about making cards. So that is box the first. So the first thing I wanted is these chalk markers because they are really neat for touching stuff up, either white or black. And I haven't used the actual chalkboard surfaces that much, but I'm really excited to do so. But I think those will be great. They also make them in silver and gold, which I don't think I have. And now I have some paste colors that I wasn't able to get in the past. Here we go. So, leading off, we have Colonial Blue, which is a lot lighter than Cadet. It's more of a sort of a distressed blue. And I got a Shimmer Gold, which I somehow didn't have. And Papaya was finally back in stock, so I wanted all of these. And then I also picked up Dune, which I haven't used, although I have this in an ink. Just because all of the Celebration demos were largely using Dune, especially for some of the travel stuff, were used as sort of a background image, essentially. And then I picked up Rose, mostly for those flowers. So, not a huge amount of pastes, mostly because I have almost all the colors I want at this point. But some interesting stuff to try out. And then, a lot of the ink was restocked. So, I have a bunch of more ink colors. So I picked up Cadet and Eucalyptus, because we all know that Eucalyptus is like my new favorite color, yeah. Candy Apple Red, and I want to say this is Storm, but yeah, this is Storm. So, got a red and a gray. The gray I think will be really nice on especially white t-shirts, just because it's a nice offset color. And then I got Sage. I have Meadow already, so with Sage and Meadow, you kind of have, you know, a nice variance of green. And then I got red, because that's awesome, and a very, I don't know, I think of red as a nice vibrant summer color. And then Current Jam, which is sort of, I don't know, somewhere between purple and pink, I would say. I think that some of these colors actually set a little darker than what they look in the jars, but we have a lot to experiment with, and I'm looking at my other inks. I basically have another purple, both Dune and Bark, and then Meadow. So there's still a couple of ink colors I'm looking for, but hopefully those will come at some point in the future. I picked up another one of these color cases just because I realized that I had way too much chalk paste lying around, and I really like them. They're well made, and because you can get it both sides, they really make actually storing stuff a lot easier. And then, because storing some of these larger transfers has proven to be kind of tricky, I think the best option probably is hanging them up if you had like a pegboard. But I don't, so we're looking at potential other stuff as options. So this is the, I forget exactly what this thing's called. The Tote, which is basically like a big, you know, almost like a canvas holder like you'll see for art projects and whatnot. But it should be big enough to hold up to an E-size transfer, which will be great. Then I got another one of these for my inks, because they're kind of growing as well. I got a couple tools that I didn't have. I finally picked up some like official transfer trimmers. And I picked up the super big squeegee for doing basically the D and E size for what I want to do, sort of a one and done. I have a lot of patterns, and I really want to do a big piece for my kitchen. And some of my back-ordered erasers came, so that's neat. I have a couple more of those, I think, floating around here. And that brings us to even more more surfaces. So, after seeing some of Ken's cool block things, I picked up a couple sets of the blocks. They're also sort of a one-time use surface, but of course you can repaint them. But they come in sort of this white distressed wood look. So those are pretty neat. I also picked up some jar cutouts, and I picked up the new hex cutout. I almost wish I had gotten more of these because they're sold out now, but these will be really neat for some of the transfers that came with this release. Particularly all the lemon stuff, of which I have a lot. Oh yeah, go me. I actually picked up a second one of these and a second jar because, I don't know, I think I like things that are arranged in collections, like, so I mean, I think those will be pretty sweet. Let's see, and that is it for transfers. Well, I'm sorry, for not transfers. So now we can get into some of the transfers, because I picked up a bunch of them. So I'll go in order as most folks do. I picked up this Here Comes the Sun, because mostly for this graphic, actually. Because, of course, that seems like it would be fun on a card, but, you know. I like the Come As You Are. I mean, I like the sentiment on that. A little big for a card, really good for the chalkboard bases. This one, I think, is just really 50s, and I really dig it. In crafting and stamping, just use this graphic and left everything else as, like, a shaker element, so that would be kind of a neat idea. Or just use, like, just use the cupcake and then, you know, build a shaker out of something else. Or build another sort of element on the card. But I don't know, one of my cousins is a big baker, so it was something I definitely wanted. And then comes some of the travel. Actually, this is my last A-side. But this travel one, it's hard to see where they put the Chalk Stories thing. But there's a bunch of luggage stamps. And there's another luggage stamp mini to come, probably, that I most likely purchased. So, that'll be pretty neat. I haven't had a chance to travel since the pandemic. But I think you could do some pretty interesting things. And this one says, my heart was made to travel, but there's no place like home. Which is cute. It's very sort of A2 card sized if you wanted a bigger card. And as I mentioned, there are these great minis. I am really excited to use these. These would be awesome to use in like a layered look too on a card if you wanted to make sort of like a, I don't know, Bon Voyage kind of card. Because those look pretty neat. And then I am very excited about the Hexes and this honeycomb transfer. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, and I think this actually would be, like if I grab a card for size, like you could actually use this as sort of a background to a card that would be pretty neat. Not that everything has to be a card, just saying. It would be a pretty cool idea. And then, of course, more lemons, because that will work nicely on the jar. A friend of mine is really into sweet tea, so I may actually, like, use this in some fashion. I might use this on one of those cutting boards, too, because I think that would be kind of a cute sentiment. The sunflower looks pretty neat. It's a really neat technique using watercolor on this, basically. You know, or just using wire and, like, you know, layering the paste down and then going over it. Anyway, I like the look of it. It's very painterly to me. And then, of course, the next month, exclusive transfer for Club Couture members. This one is the Grove Stand, Lemonade Stand, something like that, I want to say. Yeah. Which is really neat. So you can see that there's a whole bunch of things. There's like the Lemon Garland kit, and then this, and then the mason jar lemon stuff. So there's a lot of lemons coming, which is pretty neat. And then we get into the larger things. So we have our we have our big travel piece. I really like this as a card element. You can't see it, but there's a little plane here that would be pretty cute. Um, the idea here, of course, is that you'd use it on one of the rectangle shapes. And then, of course, for my Canadian friends, I had to pick this up. But I won't lie, I bought it just for the Just Add Bacon, because I want to make a t-shirt out of this. I really like this leaf, too. I think this would look really cool on a hat or t-shirt or anything like that. And there's also the surfaces, the pendant surfaces I showed earlier, they're really cool use of this on that. Or you could use them on the fabric pendants as well. I got all the sassy sayings. You've probably seen a whole bunch of people doing the shut the front door by this point, but it's really cute. I also like the HUD packages from my husband, and it's 2 people outside. This is very card friendly too, I think. If I used a big one, like I could see doing this with like a craft paper larger card. And then more things I bought for cards, but I just really think these are cute. Keep palm and carrot. I mean, I think these are just hilarious. I like these 2 the best, actually, so I don't know. I'm probably going to make some sort of something out of those. And then I got a couple different patterns. This I actually got on clearance, which was kind of neat, which, you know, again, it's a really good sort of background-y pattern, I think. Or you could do a really interesting sort of, accent piece on like an 18 by 18, but I got it mostly for some of these side areas where it would be really cool to, like, if I wanted sort of a geometric background. Speaking of those, Farmhouse Tile from last release is finally back in stock, so I was able to pick that up. Again, very card friendly. This one I'm planning to actually cut up because it's so many, it's so card friendly and there's just so many options here. And I did get the bandana pattern because I really liked it. And I think, again, you can use elements of it. This is sort of the Americana pattern that came out with Celebrations. And then I got the map one as well. Due to an oopsie, I actually seem to have 2 maps, but I don't know, I may do a good giveaway. If there are people who are interested in this map transfer, just shoot me a comment below. And that's all the stuff I got for Celebrations, so stay tuned. There's a bunch of projects coming soon.